This is Andy Quinnell filling in for Jed. Jed and Alexis are off celebrating their daughter's graduation from University of Wisconsin. Hey, I need to do a quick endorsement here before we start the East Chicago show, and how apropos. This is about the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill located in the Ameristar Casino in East Chicago is now open to the public. Watch all your favorite sports teams from one spot on one of their 40 flat screen TVs, 50 craft beers and 21 beers on tap, including their very own house beer, only available at the stadium. They got delicious food such as burgers, wings, nachos, steak, Italian beef, and more. They are open from 11 a.m. to midnight Sunday through Thursday, and 11 a.m. till 2 on Friday and Saturday. And I bet you that's probably a great place to go to watch the Hawks game tomorrow. So again, that's the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill located in the Ameristar Casino. We are now coming up to a paid program that's paid for by the City of East Chicago. I'm sitting here with Sandra Favela. Favela.
There you
there,
go.
if I say it like an Italian, I could get it. I got to get my hands going. Favela.
You got
she is the interim Human Resources Director?
Correct.
So, with the City of East Chicago.
Yes.
So you work for Mary Anthony Copeland.
Yes, I do.
And so what's going on in East Chicago right now?
Well, right now I'm here today to speak about the 2015 Summer Youth Employment Program that we have going on. Mary Anthony Copeland and the Common Council.
I'm not getting there.
Oh,
Is that on?
Is the mic on? Oh, sorry, the mic wasn't on there, sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, so you want to start over with that, sorry.
Sure, no, that's okay. Yes, I'm here to talk about the 2015 Summer Youth Employment Program that we got going on in East Chicago. Mary Anthony Copeland and the Common Council made an announcement about a month ago that there will be a summer youth program this year. And it's very exciting. Every summer we try to put this program together for the students that are going to college or getting out of high school.
Okay.
And this program is geared to the youth for ages 18 to 22.
Okay.
And they need to be in school. And they have to show proof that they're in school or they've been accepted in a college or a university.
Okay, so it's for like seniors in high school that might be 18, or
Correct.
if you're a freshman going, or a senior going into your freshman year or whatever.
Yes, it's
Okay.
an opportunity for them to come out and earn some money before they go back to school, or buy their books for the new fall semester or the summer semester.
Okay.
And they also have to show proof that they're East Chicago residents. So they need two forms of ID. One would be either their driver's license or their learner's permit, and the other one would be a school ID.
Okay.
They also have to show proof of a type of utility bill. This could be NIPSCO, Comcast, water bill, and the other portion is just basically completing the application, making sure that everything's complete, and turning in all their documents. And then they'll be assigned a number, so each application has a number. And in the years past, we've done a lottery drawing, which has been great, because we have different people picking the numbers, and it's televised. So whoever's number gets picked gets hired for a job over the summer. So it's exciting. For the past 2 years, we didn't have to do a lottery. We had enough funds to hire everybody, which was great. So we hope that happens this summer, but I can't guarantee anything.
Okay, and where do they go to get that application?
They can come to City Hall at Human Resources, or they can go on the website, www.eastchicago.com.
Okay.
And the application's there, they can print it out, as well as all the information that they need to know. And if they have any questions, they can call the office, 219-391-8476.
Okay, and
I'm
now...
sorry, that's on my number. 391-8479, that was the park department's number.
Okay. So 219-391-8479. Okay.
Correct.
So you're listening to the East Chicago show here on WJOB 1230 AM in Hammond, Indiana.
Yes.
We have Karen Favela here with
Sandra.
Sandra Favela, and now we've been joined by two others. Mario, what's your last name?
Marino Solorio.
Marino Solorio, and what do you do with the city?
I have different hats in the city. I work for the park improvements most of all.
Okay.
There in the city. We've been upgrading all the park system. I mean, it's definitely a lot different than it's ever been before. Yesterday, actually, I stopped by Todd Park. I would say there was at least 300 people in that park just recreating, and so it's a blessing that the mayor decided, hey, we need to spruce up our parks and make them as amenities and not just eyesores. And then I brought with me Nellie Chavez from Ball State University. She's actually looking to intern for the city this year. And just touching base with what Sandra said about this summer program, I used to be a summer program recipient.
Right.
So I did it for 2 years, and that helped me pay my way to college at Ball State. Now I got a urban planning degree, and I came back, and now I'm working in the urban planning department. So I think it's kind of cool to see maybe an example of a full cycle of what potentially this program could do. I'm an East Chicago resident, such as Nellie, same thing. So I think it's interesting to see how these programs empower people to be better.
Right, and I remember Marino, I was one of the witnesses when you were an intern, so just to see where he's at now, it's a great starting point for any student that's out there that wants to start work.
Yeah, and it's always nice to hear these success stories about, the guy that starts out, works at someplace, summers when they're in school or whatever, then they come back and they get a job, with that same company or, city, the municipality in your instance. And Nellie, so welcome.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
And it's Nellie, right?
Yes, Nellie.
Nellie Chavez, and you are a student at Ball State.
Correct.
And you are a resident of East Chicago as well?
Yes.
Okay, and what year are you at Ball State?
I just finished my 4th year.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you are, now are you doing?
I'm doing a 5-year program.
Okay, and do you work for the city of East Chicago, and you work for the city of East Chicago right now?
Yes, I'm currently volunteering until the program starts.
Oh,
Yeah.
and what do you do volunteering for the city of East Chicago?
I've actually been taken in under Marino's wing, and he's been giving me some advice. But for the most part, I'm helping the city design gardens, and that will be incorporated in a few of the parks.
Oh, and what's your major at Ball State?
I am a landscape architecture
I was
student.
just going to say, it sounds like when you said designing gardens, I didn't want to,
Yeah. And then I have, I'm currently minoring in urban planning as well
okay.
as Spanish.
Good. So are you enjoying designing the gardens and everything?
Yes.
Yeah. And what did you do last year when you worked for East Chicago, or didn't you?
I wasn't working for East Chicago last year. I actually took summer classes at Ball State.
Okay. So this is your first go-around working for East Chicago? All right, great. Well, Mario, so you wear Marino, sorry. I messed this up twice now. Let's start all over.
Don't worry, everyone messes up with me.
You look more like a Mario.
Right. We'll go with that.
Okay. Now, Marino, so you said you wear multiple hats. So you're working in the urban planning department, working on the parks, making sure that they are assets of the community, which I think is important. I live in Munster, and we have a great parks department, and that was one of the things that attracted my family to there, is to move to because of the great parks that we have. And I know it's important because it provides, not only just recreational activities. I think it's a great place to, kind of just walk through sometimes. You kind of decompress in some of these parks. And I know, I don't know all the East Chicago parks, but they've got the one that seems kind of nice just north of Wolf Lake there. I believe.
You mean south?
Is it south of Wolf Lake?
It'd have to be, because Wolf Lake is north of East Chicago.
Okay, that's right. Sorry, south of.
So Todd Park, maybe?
I think that might be it. Yeah.
Okay, right by MacArthur Golf Course and all that.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry.
One thing about, how I think the issue was we were seeing that not enough people were using these parks at all.
Okay.
Right, and so they were abandoned. Some of them, the playground equipment was just obsolete. Swings were broken. It really wasn't anything for a complete family to do anything there. And I think I think what I brought to the table when the mayor tapped my shoulder was that I brought an urban planning perspective to the parks, which was how do we get people to use the parks again? And so a perfect example is we installed new playground equipment that is state of the art. It definitely, I'd say very little communities, if not at all have these type of playground equipment. We put the soft surfacing, thinking about the kids falling, and then we put fitness equipment right next to them across the trail so that when the mother or father takes their kids to play, they can actually use the fitness equipment and check their kid out without having to go anywhere. So it's not an excuse anymore, and now it's kind of like a synergy, I guess. Hey, you go play in the playground, I'll watch you from here when I'm doing cardio on this machine. And so that was done in 8 parks of the city, 8 major parks of the city, all touching different districts and neighborhoods. It was well thought out. We're at right now $3.5 million in reinvestment into those parks. And now I look at them as amenities or places that a lot of people say, you should go see this park or you should go see that park. And so the positive feedback that we've been receiving is just overwhelming, and I think it's a great thing. And I think from this we want to use, I'm not sure if you heard of the Roxana Marsh, but we've been talking about trying to do different type of recreating here. And the last time I was here in this interview, we talked about the Roxana Marsh being a place where people can kayak and can bike. We applied actually for a grant that will connect us pretty much behind the Roxana Marsh up to the South Shore train station, to Koski Boulevard. It will connect us to the Hammond Trail, to Wolf Lake, Whiting, Chicago, and all the way south to Crown Point. So it's something that the city's never seen, and it's a city that's, again, without sounding cliche, it's hope and progress, right? And so
we have a caller. We have Barbara on line 1. Barbara, go ahead. You're on with Marino, Sandra, and Nellie.
Mr. Marino, we live here in Marshtown Historical District, and we haven't had any improvements on our park yet. And I wanted to know if you're going to do, or is there anything coming in the future to help us out here in our community?
actually there's a few things that are going to be happening, which I'm not necessarily sure if I could talk about the other two, but the first one, the mayor did meet with some of the residents there, the main residents that are pretty vocal about Marktown and things like that, and we did discuss new improvements for Marktown. So I'm actually working on that now, the visioning process of what that's going to look like. I'm taking into consideration the Marktown plan, and we'll be going back to the residents there to see kind of what they want, but you'll pretty much see the same type of amenities that all the other parks have will be placed there. Unfortunately, because this is a phased approach, actually last year we were only supposed to do 4 parks and we actually ended up doing 8, and so that took away from this year's improvements, but we speeded up the process. So we'll be getting to Marktown and hopefully Goodman Park also, and so we'll be getting to those different parks as we phase this in. So for sure.
Okay, because our park is in pretty bad shape, and we're just hoping as soon as possible. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, Barbara. So it seems that your residents are taking the same concerns as you are about your parks, and and they are an asset, and we need to we need open space as much as we need development. And, you forget about that. Especially East Chicago was an older community. The majority of the development, I believe, in East Chicago happened probably prior to 1970. I would think. I'm not a architectural historian on this one to know, but I mean, just from driving around, you can kind of tell. And so, prior to the 50s, we didn't really think about putting parks in as much as we should. Not everybody subscribed to the Daniel Burnham plan, and which I'm sure both of you guys have studied quite extensively if you've done anything in urban planning. So it's important that we look at these parks as assets to the community and maintain them in that sense.
And part of parks, not necessarily just the equipment. This is something that we had spoken to the mayor about. We need to bring new programming to the city. If you have all these new amenities, resurface basketball courts, we're going to resurface some volleyball courts, new equipment, fitness equipment. How do we begin to implement a structured program that is quality programming? And I think actually Sandra here has a little snippet. It's called the STARS Summer Camp Registration. And what it is, it's a targeted effort for students to be successful. And that's actually what STARS stands for, somewhere in there. But May 1st through June 6th, they'll be is the registration, and they're going to be hosting different activities such as learning how to play volleyball, baseball, soccer. I think basketball's in there somewhere. Yes, and then they'll have special events. First golf program, and that's another thing. Our golf course, it's an asset in the community that no one really knows about. It's a 9-hole, and we also have
The batting cages.
the batting cages and the putt. What was it? The
Miniature golf?
miniature golf. There you go.
I know you were going for pee-wee
Yeah.
putt, and you were trying to think of that.
And we have all those things. So hopefully, people. The requirement is you have to be an East Chicago resident, of course.
For the summer camp.
For the summer camp. And again, it goes on from June 1st to August 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they can call the Recreation Department at 219-391-8476 for that program.
That's the number. You
That's
Yeah, and the Park and Recreation, they are actually doing a whole lot for the residents of East Chicago. They're also having a Shipshewana trip, and if anybody wants information about that, they can call Park and Recreation, but that trip is going to be on the 27th of May.
Okay.
And residents are invited, $20, and non-residents as well, it's $25.
Oh, and that's pretty reasonable for.
Right, yes.
Another thing I just wanted to touch base on is the city is actively, and not just necessarily recreating, but places where people can go to in East Chicago, which I speak for myself as a young adult, there really isn't anything I can do, which is why mostly our generation moves out and not stays, which I hope that tide is going to get changed as the progress keeps progressing. But like our lakefront, for example, hopefully mid-June, somewhere there we're going to inaugurate that place, and there's a new splash park, there's new picnic amenities over there at the lakefront. The concession has been rehabbed, so we're trying to make these places to attract people and young people to see that difference, to say, you know what, maybe I should move back to East Chicago. It's low cost. Their infrastructure is there.
Close to the
Parks
city.
are great.
Close to the city
I
if you
can
work
take
in
the
the
South
city.
Shore train station and go straight to Chicago in about 35, 40 minutes. I'll get there. We also inaugurated, actually last month, actually the beginning of this month, was Unity Plaza. It's a plaza right in the Harbor District. It used to be Mademoiselle's, and then it became a vacant lot. And it's areas that the city is progressively taking and saying, you know what, we need to do something proactive about these lots. And how about for example, in that example, how about a plaza that brings everyone together? And it's beautiful. And there's this art wall that was done by a local artist that represents pieces of East Chicago. And I think that's what we're trying to do. The next step is invigorate the city with art pieces that represent the history of the city, because many times it seems people forget that or want to forget the history because they feel like, manufacturing, it's, this and that. But really, most of our street signs and parks and stuff like that are called by people that were influential in the manufacturing industry.
Well, and there were a lot of immigrants that came there, not just from Greece, from Poland, from
Yes.
a lot of Eastern Europeans there, a lot of a lot of Hispanics and everything that had all immigrated. It was seems like it was a melting pot
It definitely
for
was.
years, and and a lot of successes that you hear about that came out of there. And a lot of support that came early on from the community. I didn't know this until about a year or so ago. Block Field was actually named for, I believe it was the CEO or something of U.S. Steel or Inland or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
And they donated the money to build that field.
And
So,
Kenny Lofton also donated money to create the four.
great baseball player.
Right. So I mean, so these are people that have came out of East Chicago, and I think if people knew that, they would understand that you could be someone special and important coming out of East Chicago, even East Chicago, right? And so
Dr. Andy Coulteritis came out of East Chicago. So You know, who's got the greatest commercial on this radio station?
Yeah. Well, East Chicago used to be it still is for sure, because we have steel mills and we have, BP and we have all these big companies. But, at one point we were a powerhouse of a city. We used to have we had two Carnegie libraries. That alone says a lot about this city and what it used to be. And I think the goal of this administration, and I'm glad that we got these next 4 years to work on this, is that we want it to be that city again. And I know it's going to take time, but we have to start with our youth to get them with thinking in a different mentality, and we target it through parks and recreation, and hopefully then they become, older fellows like Nellie and myself, even working back into the city, putting time back into the city, and making it the city that they want to live, work, and play.
And let me ask one last question. We've got very little time left here, but Nellie, you're here. You've got a year left of school.
Yeah.
To become a landscape architect.
It's exciting.
And I won't make fun of you as an architect. I'm in construction management, so we always have a little bit of a thing going on. But what is your plans after graduation? I mean, what would you like to do?
I would definitely love to come back and work in the region.
Okay.
Before I started our landscape architecture school, I always thought that I wanted to do something extravagant, something like Millennium Park in Chicago, something like that. And then I realized that I would do better off working for people who actually need it.
Yeah.
Providing these resources, providing parks, and kind of like oases for people who don't have these, who work in these industrial towns and they don't have a place to go. Maybe sometimes they don't even have their own backyard.
So basically, I mean, I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth or not, but like reclaiming brownfields?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Interesting. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming out. It's almost time to end the show here. Go on. What were you going to say?
I was just going to mention, please, anybody who's interested in this summer youth employment program, please log on to www.eastchicago.com or give us a call again, 219-391-8479, for information about the program.
Yep. And they start the hiring when on that?
We started last week, and
Okay.
the applications are due on Wednesday next week.
The 27th.
So, the 27th.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys all coming in today. It's been a great day. I hope you have a wonderful extended weekend. Happy Memorial Day. I'm sure you guys have events going on. And I will be back in about 60 seconds. You're listening to Andy Quinnell.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean.